Could Antonio Conte be about to quit his role as manager at Tottenham Hotspur just a few months into his deal, a few days after the brilliant, the epic victory over Manchester City? 4 defeats in 5 games. And Antonio Conte's Tottenham are staring down the barrel. A top four finish and Champions League qualification is now very much out of their hands. Their games in hand they had, if they won the majority, would have seen them sit solidly in 4th place. In fact, just a few weeks ago, if they won all their games in hand, they would have gone into 3rd place above Chelsea. But those 4 defeats in 5 games have got Antonio Conte questioning himself. Could he be about to quit? Many think he might, although there are suggestions that maybe people are misreading this and he's actually condemning himself a little bit more. I want your views. I want your opinions. Get your comments in right about now, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Done Deal show on the Football Terrace. Let's do it. Welcome back, everybody. Antonio Conte has sent. He's got his name trending globally. He's sent Tottenham fans into an absolute meltdown last night. The potential that he may quit is on the cards. We know he is the type of manager that will fall out with boards. We know he's the type of manager that will walk away if he isn't happy with himself, if he isn't happy with the football club, if he's not getting what was promised to him. He famously did this with Inter Milan, who, by the way, are still competing for the title this year in Serie A. With him at the helm, they'd probably still have won the league even after losing the likes of Hakimi and, of course, Romelu Lukaku to Chelsea for large sums of money. He comes into Tottenham, though, and currently boasts the worst win percentage in his career for the past 11 years. The last time it was as low as this was when he was looking after Atalanta. Lower than this was he was looking after Atalanta, where he had a win percentage of like 21%. He only managed him for 14 games, though. If you look at what he did at Juve, 67% win ratio, Italy 56%. Chelsea, 65%. Inter Milan, 62%. Currently sitting at a 52% win ratio at Tottenham right now. But that's been massively damaged because 4 of those defeats have come in his last 5 games. And I think he's had a taste of the Spursy clause, the Spursy virus, the history of the Tottenham. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But the article here that I've been reading today on the One Football website, it just goes through what he was talking about yesterday, what it is that he was saying. But he says, the article here says, Antonio Conte cast doubt on his Tottenham future in a dramatic press conference. Speaking after his side 1-0 loss to Burnley in the Premier League last night, Tottenham Hotspur manager Antonio Conte suggested that he may not be the right person for the job in a dramatic press conference. And everybody's looking at this and trying to interpret, what is it that he means? Is he unhappy with the club? Is he unhappy with himself? Like, what is this? That's what people are talking about. That's what people are asking. And for me, I do think it's a combination of both those things. I believe that he's looking at himself and thinking, and I don't mean this as disrespect to Antonio Conte. I think some managers, they like being at the elite end. When they're eating caviar and drinking champagne, they're in their element. But are they in a mindset? But it's all about position where you are. And I'll give you an example of this. Like when you first start your career, if you look at Antonio Conte when he was at clubs like Atalanta back in 2019, Bali in 2000, you're at the lower ends of the spectrum. You're learning your trade, you're grafting away. A bit like if you're I'll give you an example. If I go back to my banking career, In the early days, I was doing cashier work. I was doing ledger work out the back. I then moved into the banking hall and was doing the very basic things of meeting and greeting and opening basic bank accounts. By the time I stopped my banking career, I was very fortunate, but I also worked very, very hard to get to where I got to. I was working in the private bank, dealing with high net worth individuals, the types of meetings and the offices we had and the kind of daily activities I was doing. Mentally, I would never have wanted to have gone back to those early days where it's more of a struggle, where it's a hard, more grunt work. The work in the branch that I used to do was harder work day to day than what I was doing in it, almost on a physical level than what I was doing in the private bank. The private bank was more complex, but the environment was in some respects easier. But you earn your stripes at the beginning and you work your way up and you gain your promotions, you gain your progression, and then you sit in a different sphere. And that's where Antonio Conte is. Antonio Conte has done the grunt work. He's gone through the clubs that are not ready to compete. He's been at the clubs where you have to sort of beg and borrow and steal, and you have to kind of grind out results. And he's been at the clubs where, do you know what, coming fifth can be looked at as the best possible achievement that season. And I think he's gone there and he's realized I am just not in the right mental state to be able to manage a club like Tottenham because it's not where I want to be. I want to be at a club that is legitimately challenging for titles, absolutely going out there to try and win at all costs at every single level. And he just isn't getting that, in my opinion, at all from Tottenham. Let's take a look here at what he said in the press conference as well. I think it's really important to listen to the context of his words.
I think Tottenham called me to improve the situation, but I'm too honest. I'm too honest to close my eyes. You understand, and to continue to tell, okay, but I want to finish my season in this way, and okay, but my salary is good. No, but I'm not this type of person. I have ambition. I'm a person that I have ambition. I hate to lose, and we lost. I repeat.
I think what's really interesting there, I've got this really good salary, but I'm not here to, it sounds like I'm not here to just take the money. I have ambition and I want to achieve better things. I want to do better. And it's almost a case of maybe I'm just not right for this club and their ambition. Where I want to be and where they want to be is different. And maybe he's feeling that internally.
Repeat 4 games in the last 5 games. And for me, I repeat, this is unacceptable, and I want to accept this, and I want to try, to move the situation, also to make assessment with the club, because if we continue this way, maybe and we have to pay great attention, and because this league. And then we can finish 10, 12, 13.
Very intriguing what he says there. You can see you can hear the frustration in his voice. You can sense the frustration in what's going on with him. I think it's a combination of a number of things. Am I the right manager to get us out of this situation? I think he's felt the Spursy curse. And I know that Spurs fans will hate hearing me say that. Whenever I've seen Tottenham, generally speaking, in a position to control their own destiny, invariably I've seen them fail. The season where Harry Redknapp, I remember the goal, I want to say it was Peter Crouch, I think Harry Redknapp was a manager, where you qualified for the Champions League for the first time. The biggest shock in that was Spurs didn't crumble. They did it and they delivered it. They did it themselves by beating Manchester City. I see them deliver that there. They won the League Cup over a decade ago. They deserved to beat Chelsea. They crossed the line there. They finished in the top 4 on a number of seasons. But in fact, in some of those seasons where they qualified for the Champions League, they were actually in the Leicester campaign. They were actually in a title race and ended up finishing 3rd behind Arsenal that for the majority of the season weren't deemed as good as them. They've lost multiple semi-finals, multiple finals. There have been 2 or 3 occasions, the back end of Poch's career. They went away to Burnley. And as it stood that season, Spurs were in control of their own destiny. They beat Burnley and then won their remaining games. Of course, very unlikely that everybody wins their remaining games. Everybody's going to drop points. But they had the ability to win the league. fell apart. That back end of that season, although they made the Champions League final that year, awful. Awful indeed. Then you have the situation of they then employed Jose Mourinho, the complete opposite approach to what Poch had been building and creating. That took time. He then gets sacked because he can't get them to win. Nuno comes in. He's the 13th, 14th manager on the list. The players don't buy into him. You've got the Harry Kane saga going on as well. And then you move into this period with Antonio Conte. After all that mess, Antonio Conte comes in. They start playing well. I'm sitting there. I put my hands up. They can make the top 4 now. Antonio Conte is a winner. He's a winner. He's a winner. They need to listen to him, though. They need to give him who he wants. And 2 things have happened. And I think Antonio Conte has looked at this and gone, I might be getting paid well, but I ain't here for this. They should have signed Adama Traore. They should have signed Luis Diaz. Those deals were practically in the bag, but they dragged their feet, they dilly-dallied, and Barca and Liverpool respectively came in and took the players away. Then what happened is after the really good start in the league, putting themselves into a brilliant position, 4 or 5 points behind Manchester United in 4th place, with 3 games in hand. Win your games in. And the teams they have lost to in the last 5 games, it's atrocious. When you actually break it down and look at it, in the last 5 games, they have lost to Chelsea. You can accept. Okay, losing 2-0 away to Chelsea, you can accept that. The 3-2 defeat to Southampton is an abomination. They were leading 2-1. They were at home. You see that game through. 2-0 to Wolves at home. Outplayed, bullied, just destroyed. They then go to Man City, and it was like, this is it. We're going to lose today, and then the top 4 race is over. The pressure was gone. They win. They then go into the next match against Burnley. Yes, Burnley are fighting to stay up. But now the expectation is Spurs win. Put yourselves on to 42 points with 2 games in hand. Win those games in hand, you go in front of Arsenal. You go in front of Manchester United because one of those games in hand is against Arsenal at home. And they can't do it. And I think Antonio Conte has realized I'm never going to get the players that I need to compete to the level that I want. I don't have the appetite or proclivity to want to work at the level that Tottenham are happy to be at. I don't want to be there. I was there 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever it may be. I've moved on from that stage in my managerial career. And I think he's also realized that there is a confidence, and there's a confidence issue and a cowardice within this Tottenham team. They are happy to be the bridesmaids. They are happy to just be there rather than to be the centerpiece. It's not a match made in heaven at all. But do you think Antonio Conte is going to quit? Leave us your comments below. Please subscribe to the Football Terrace before you leave as well. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all soon.